Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, friends of social media. Clear to Close Live. We're back. Man, what a crazy coincidence to have this guest on our show. So, this just came by chance because, unfortunately, I had one of our guests cancel. But I walked into the Vent studio and I met our new friend, Diana Guzman. Diana or Diane? Wait, how do you say it?
Diana Lee Guzman.
Diana Lee. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Diana Lee. So I invited her on the show because she's got a couple cool things to talk about that I was very surprised to learn. So, Diana Lee, take it away. The floor is yours. You have it all.
Yeah, so thanks for having me, Mario. So my name's Diana Lee Guzman, like he mentioned, and I do a couple of things. I'm a software engineer by trade, and I also run a nonprofit called Coding Color, where our mission is to support underrepresented students in the computing industry.
Yeah, so let's jump right into this, because this is crazy. So I'm like 5,000 centuries older than her. So we ended up going to the same high school, just probably about 20 years apart. So we were still on typewriters, and you guys had computers. That's how it rolled back then. And that's one of the cool things that we were talking about off the air was, man, getting out of there, right? Getting out of that neighborhood, right, where it was really rough, but you had a vision. You had a vision. I mean, you were super smart. You decided that you were like, I'm going to pursue this career that's not really pushed upon in those neighborhoods or in that school system. So tell me a little bit about what led you from learning it to perfecting it to working in the industry and then now building the nonprofit.
Okay, yeah, so I don't know if I was super smart necessarily, but I'm sure my ignorance gave me the confidence pretty much, and it probably still does. But yeah, I graduated from Carl Hayden in 2014, and at that time I was just kind of looking to try something new, just because I was born and raised here in Phoenix. So I was like, there has to be something else out there. Like, there has to be more than the things that I've been surrounded by, like, my entire life. So then my senior year, I just started looking for different sorts of colleges. And I was like, all right, let me look in the East Coast. And I applied to some schools, and I got into NYU. And I started as a civil engineering major because my Nino, his name's Carlos, he was a big influence in my life, and he's a civil engineer. So I was like, yeah, that's something I want to do. That was something that I was interested in. But then my first semester of college, I was like, let me try computer science. Let me try computer programming, because I was part of the robotics team when I was at Carl Hayden. And I was like, hey, I'm paying a bunch of money to be here. I might as well, figure out what I'm curious about. Yeah. So I just tried it out. And 4 years later, I graduated with a degree in computer science, and I went on to practice software engineering afterwards.
That's crazy.
So yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's great. So you were part of the robotics program when they were involved in that whole movie thing, right? Like in that was like your era, right? Like
sort of. Yeah.
Or was that before you?
Yeah. So when Carl Hayden had beat MIT in an underwater robotics competition, that was in 2004. So they filmed the movie, however, I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Spare Parts.
Yeah.
That was filmed in 2013/2014, and I helped with the filming portion of that.
So
yeah. Yeah. I'm not in it necessarily, but I built some of the robots that were used as props in the movie.
Oh, that's dope.
And we actually got to go, me and a couple of robotics friends, we actually went onto the set to go meet some of the actors and to just kind of check out what some of the behind the scenes looked like. So that was a really cool experience.
Hey, so I got to meet someone famous today. Look at that. That's how this works. That's how this works. Like, not many people could be like, yeah, I just made some robots for a movie. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I was bored that day. That's cool. That's dope. Like, I like that. Mm-hmm. I like that. Like, right, growing up in the neighborhood and those opportunities, right, those things that we look at, we go, dang, not everybody gets those shots, especially being in that neighborhood, right? And one is not having the resources, to the community not being educated on those things, right? Because there's a ton of people that, like, if you go to their houses, they're super smart, like they're creative with their hands, they build things, out of nothing. But they never get to put them to use.
Yeah, they don't know what else is out there. Yeah, absolutely.
That's crazy.
So, yeah, it's it's a common, like, I guess, sort of saying is like, talent is everywhere, but opportunity is not.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. Let's dive into this, right? Because we dove into this a little bit off the air. It was, being a young Latina in a software engineer field that's usually dominated by a lot of males.
Men.
And the comfort and uncomfortableness of being in that industry, right? Being a young female, and then a minority, right? Which is crazy. Like, so
you represent a lot of people in one room.
You carried a lot of weight. You carried a lot of weight on your shoulders for that industry, right? Which, it's nice because you paved the way for the next generation, right? There's probably a little girl that's gonna watch this today and go, dang, if she can do it, I'm in. Like,
yes, you can.
But then you're like, man, that's not enough. You're like, you know what? Let's go, ramp up this nonprofit so we can go teach this to underserved communities. So what was the vision behind that? Was it because of you, like because of your struggles, or was it just something that you were like, I just feel I need to do this?
Yeah, so just a reiteration of our mission is we support underrepresented students in the computing industry. So at the beginning, it was highly personal. When I started noticing kind of this problem, I mean, maybe one of the first days when I was in college. So I went to Carl Hayden, where most of us are brown.
Yeah.
And then you go to college and it's like, oh my God, there's nobody here like me. Maybe there's like one or two. And really, I only found other Hispanics through like the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, which is like its own, sort of club in college. But really, there were not a lot of folks that I could relate to from like a cultural standpoint. And I was like, okay, well, that's kind of crazy. But really, it wasn't until my senior year of college in which I was like, I would like to help, give others the opportunity to learn some of the things that I've learned. And I mean, even in the software engineering industry as a whole, this is also something that made me like, it's not fair that not enough of us have these opportunities, because they pay you very competitively. And that's like one of the huge things about being in the neighborhoods that we come from is, financial disadvantage.
Yeah.
And when you enter in a lot of these, engineering industries as a whole, it's like you get compensated very competitively. And that changes like the projection of your life and also like the people around you.
Yeah.
So I just thought that we should all have, more opportunities to make a little bread.
So you built this coding nonprofit, right? And going into to me, right, the hardest thing would be going into the neighborhoods and getting people to believe, getting people to buy in, right? To go, I could do that, right? Because we watch these kids, and we were just talking about this. We watch these kids who are super phenomenal gamers, super phenomenal this and that, and that's the technology you work on. Like, that's the stuff you work on in your regular job. And then now you want to teach that to those same kids, but those same kids might not see it in a way that it relates to their game. Like, you're like, no, like, look, this is the software for your headset, this is the software for your controller, or the movements, or whatever it is, right? Like, I don't know, like, I still get lost playing Mario Brothers, so it's cool. Like, it's completely different, right? I had 2 buttons, these kids have like 20 buttons on their games. But it's getting their buy-in, right? It's getting the parents' buy-in, right? That you could break these stereotypes, you could break these boundaries that we limit ourselves with mentally, right? We do that all the time, right? Because we go, oh, I grew up in this area, so I can't get out of here. Or I went to this school, I can't get out of here, right? Like, but you're seeing all these success stories now from these inner city schools and these public schools where people are very triumphant in their businesses and their and their work and their families, because they broke the mold. Right? So you're one who has broken the mold in the software engineering field, right? Like, to me, because I'm like, you don't see many young Latinas in this field.
No,
you don't.
Right.
You don't. And then the stereotype is that we were just talking about, people are very introverts that are software engineers, that are not very outgoing. They're not, they're very reserved, being locked in a room. They want to just do their thing, right? And and I think as we break those barriers, you're going to see a difference of people. Right? Yeah. People that are more confident, people that are not afraid to be themselves, right? Which is one of the things you just talked about. Was the inability for you to be yourself in this field, because you were one of the only Latinas in there. So visually, people were looking at you going, one, what is she doing here? Like, how did she get here, right? Everybody wants to know the story, but doesn't want to really pay attention to the story. They just want to know who the girl is.
Yeah. Like, are you one of us or are you not one of us is kind of, one of the things that a lot of people try to figure out, which is, I mean, I guess it is what it is. But, I think that's something that I've realized, as I also see older, more accomplished, more established women in this industry, I look to them and I see how, how they are themselves. They're very authentic about themselves.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I really appreciate about, more established women in this industry is that they are not afraid to come off as emotional, to come off as vulnerable. They fully they dig their heels into that because so many of us try to hide that because we get maybe unfairly judged by men saying, oh, women are emotional and women are this and women are that. And it's like they actually use it as their superpower saying, yeah, I'm that and I'm also this.
I'm passionate about my work. Like
exactly. You can be both at the same time. And it's like, it's not you're incompetent because you're vulnerable. You're incompetent because you're emotional. And I love that. So I try to embody a lot of the things that I see in a lot of these more established women. So that way, when we have new engineers, women that come in, that they see, hey, she has, so much going for herself. And she's also these things that I've been told to hide about myself. And
and that's exactly what we're talking about off the air, right? Like we were talking about, being confident as a woman, right? Wearing what you want to wear, feeling proud of your body, feeling right without being noticed in a certain light, right? And we're seeing that. We're seeing these powerhouse like CEOs, CFOs, now females, right? They're like, look, I'm me and I'm not going to hide it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, sorry. If you don't like my drive, my passion,
that's
sorry.
A personal problem.
That's a you problem. That's not a me problem.
Exactly.
But it took a lot for that to happen, right? It's taken a lot, right? And it's still a work in progress, right? There's a lot of industries that are still, learning to integrate, very powerful positions where they're female-led, right?
Yeah.
I get to be blessed that in our industry, in the mortgage industry, there's a lot of females that are in power positions that are a lot of my mentors. So, I look to them for a lot of things because I'm not a very emotional person. So I'm like, to cater to my team, I have to learn those things, right? Like the company, when we built the company's built by myself and my wife. So a lot of the stuff I run by my wife is because I need that perspective. Yeah. I need that I need what I don't have.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
And people go, oh, well, you should just run your company. I'm like, no, my company runs through my team.
Exactly.
My team is the
Absolutely.
company.
Yeah.
And, we have the majority of our team is female. Which to me, it's cool. Like, I don't care. It's fun. I get to,
how lucky are you?
I get to, it's funny because I grew up with 4 sisters, so it feels normal, right?
Yes.
It feels normal. Like, we have a couple, gentlemen on our team, but it's not normal for me. Like, I'm used to conversations with females all the time because that's my team.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a change. It'll happen. I think, putting people like you, right? Giving people the platform to talk to people, that says you can get out in this field and be successful, right?
Yes.
And it doesn't matter that, of your looks, how you look, how you carry yourself.
It's just a bonus.
Yeah, that's a bonus, right? But if you're confident in your work, that's the way to do it, right? That's the way to do it. So, man, that's super dope. Yeah. I'm gonna have to hook you up with some of my friends so I can talk about robotics and stuff because, like, I don't know anything about it. She said robotics, and I was like, look, man, I go to AutoZone. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I work on old cars. Like, I don't know any of this new stuff. So that's super cool.
They're not too entirely different, right? You have your sensors, your actuators.
No, God no. Old cars don't have any of that stuff. No, they don't. They don't have any of that stuff. It's archaic, right? It's archaic technology, but it worked for the time, right? And and now, the stuff you're doing works for the times now, right? So, like, you probably can, like, hack, like 5,000 things from your cell phone, and I wouldn't even never know. Like, that's just, right? Like, I would be scared if I was your husband. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, I got a Jason Bourne that lives in my house. Like, which is true, right? Because that's what you do. Like, that's what you do. That's dope. Absolutely. I like it. I'm excited.
So, and just continue to talk a little bit about the topic of, different sorts of representations is, our nonprofit is also, our board of directors, our staff, we all represent the communities that we're trying to serve. So we have, like my husband's on the board. He's Hispanic, and we have somebody else on the board, and he's from Jamaica. We have, our public relations.
Jamaican robotics expert.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
No, we have a lot of, we have somebody who's our program manager, and she grew up on the west side here. So we're definitely trying to stay close to the ground and stay realistic about the communities we're trying to serve.
There's no excuses, guys. Look, they got a whole team of people that made it out. I mean, that's the truth, right? That's the truth. That's awesome. Good for you guys.
So
Good for you guys. That's dope. I like it.
yeah.
But Diana Lee, the time has come. The time has come for you to have tacos. and so this was our way of sharing with small businesses. Give them a shout out, support their business, and then try their food, really, because that's really why I'm here. So today we got tacos from Que Rico Tacos. They are on 1600 East Turney Avenue. So yeah, crack those things open so you can get a look, see which one you want.
I'm all.
Yeah, showcase them. Showcase those things.
Look at those.
Yeah, so there's asada, there's some pollo, there's some pastor, there's some shrimp. I think that's pork belly. So yeah, grab 1, 2, 5, 10. You get to try them live on the air.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if they're poisoned, I'm coming back next week and you're not. And that's
I
how.
gotta go first.
Yeah, you have to. Like, that's how this works. You get to judge them, and you get to tell me if you're gonna bring your husband or your robotics team all the way over here
Let's see.
to try them out. Yeah, guys. So we're gonna have her information up for her nonprofit up on the screens and stuff. Go check them out. I mean, I think it'd be super cool if you got a kid that's super smart or wants to get into like technology, coding, all that crazy stuff. Yeah, give them a whirl. Go ahead, take a bite. Take a bite. Don't be scared. Yeah, if you're looking to purchase, refinance, invest, give us a call here at Clear to Close. Shoot me an email, a DM, whatever you want. I'm gonna let her chew a little bit before I ask, but yeah, if you guys want to be a guest on the show, if you have a small business or a nonprofit that we can give you some free media time, give us a call here at Clear to Close. We'd love to help you out. How is it? Yeah, delicious. Okay, so wait. The question of the day is: would you drive from your house to come eat here?
Where's this located?
16th Street and Turney Avenue.
Yes, I definitely would.
Would your husband approve of the food?
He would.
He
Yes,
would?
absolutely.
And that's always the key, right? Like, you're like, I might like it, but my spouse might not, right? Like, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try it, but maybe not. So
No, definitely. These are very good.
Very
Yes.
good. Try a different one. I don't know.
I'm gonna do
Yeah,
one
chicken.
pastor.
There's pastor right there. Yeah, try a second one because, you gotta have more than one because maybe they like rock it on their carne asada, but their pastor doesn't like do it.
All
But
right,
yeah.
I'll put a little bit of salsita.
Yeah, go for it. Go for it. Yeah, guys. So as always, thank you to Vance Media, for producing all our stuff, our show, and our social media and all that good fun stuff. Yeah, give that thing a whirl. See what that is. Yeah, when you nod your head and you take a bite out of a taco, that's like that's like the official sign that you made it, like that it's good. Mm-hmm. She's not even done chewing. She's like, So yeah, huge shout out to all our friends, from Carl Hayden back in the day. Yeah, I graduated moons ago. I can't even say it was in the 2000s. That's how bad it is. Like, I'm ancient compared to you. But thank you for being on our show. This is super cool. Like, I'm glad I ran into you and got to meet you. I'd love to stay in touch just so I can push your robotics, your nonprofit, to our friends on social media because I think it's cool. Like, I think it's dope. Like, I might not be the smartest dude around that knows how to do any of that stuff, but it might be something my kids are interested in. So
We can always teach you.
no, God no. Look, I've learned to use Facebook over the last 2 years, and I've learned to use Instagram a little bit over the last 2 years. So it's a slow process. So we're not gonna do coding yet. Like our team opened up a TikTok account for us, and I have no clue how to use it, and I'm scared because I still get lost trying to post on Facebook. So huge thank you for being on the show. We're gonna have her info up, guys. If you guys want to hit her up. Yeah, hit her up on her social media. I don't know. You're going to put her Instagram, all her stuff up there. Yeah. See what you can do to help out her nonprofit. So next week, we'll be back. New show, new time, new tacos, new guests. Maybe I'll run into someone else on the street and just bring them on the show. So until then, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Mario.